What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, as always, I got a real treat for you. Chad Peterson is in the house. What's up, Chad?
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming, buddy.
Yeah, man.
So, folks, if you've never heard old Chad Peterson, it's because he's been out doing shit instead of, putting it on social media. There's a lot of people out there that they're putting it on social media, but they're not really doing anything. They're just pretending. Then there's people that are actually out there doing shit, so they don't have time for social media. And some of those guys I run across, and Chad's one of them. You can follow this dude at Chad. No, what's your Instagram? At Peterson Acquisition?
At Real Chad Peterson.
At Real Chad Peterson, spelled just like it sounds. Peterson. But anyway, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Now, if you guys don't know who he is, old Chad, let's talk about your story. What's your story? Like, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in a place called Overland Park, Kansas, and you could say Kansas City, but Overland Park, Kansas.
You look like you grew up in New York.
Why is that?
Or Brooklyn.
Why is that? I have a New York.
Just your look.
Really? I look like a New Yorker?
You look like you look like a European.
Okay. I'll go with that. That's a better answer than
But you don't sound like one.
Yeah.
So, dude, you ended up being a big mogul. You specialize in buying and selling businesses.
Yeah.
How'd you get into this?
Yeah, when I was a little kid, I was raised in a really screwed up house. I mean, my mom was nuts. My dad was absentee. And I knew at a really young age that if it's meant to be, it's up to me. Like, you got to go out there and bust your ass. So as a young kid, I was working, man. I was doing all I could. It didn't matter whether it was picking up dog shit, picking up weeds out of flower bed, mowing grass. It didn't matter.
How old are we talking?
7, 8 years old.
Okay, well, that's too far back.
Well, I'm sorry. That's where I come from. You said, what was my story?
Let's start at 18.
That's when it started, though. Well, it leads into that. So okay. I built companies when I was that young, started that at that age, but I built a company out of that, and I sold it when I was 19 years old.
Built a company out of what? Picking up dog shit and mowing lawns?
That's where it started, but you said, where did I start? That's where it started.
But what I hear when you say that is you were an industrial, entrepreneurial 7-year-old, and you went out and hustled money just like a lot of us did. But you didn't have businesses. You were a kid.
No, I built a business when I was in my teenage years.
Yeah, so that's why I said let's start when you're like 18, because like you were industrious.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get doing what you're doing? It wasn't from picking up dog shit.
No, I was mowing grass. I built a hell of a business, actually. I was making more than a lot of my teachers were. And I didn't know that selling a business was a thing. I had no clue. All I knew is that I was allergic to grass. I hated mowing grass. It was the only thing I knew how to do at that time. And a guy by the name of Jerry came and said, "Hey, why don't I buy this business from you?" He says, "Well, Chad, what do you want to do?" I said, "Well, I really want to fly planes. I want to be a pilot." He said, "Well, how are you going to do that?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "You built a hell of a business. Why don't I just buy it from you?" And I said, "Buy a business? What the hell is that?"
This was the lawn mowing business?
Yeah. But I had the accounts, So I asked him, "Why would you want to buy this business from me?" And he says, "Well, Chad, you've already built the business. I don't have to go get the accounts. I'll just pay you for it." And that was whenever it just clicked, man. I was like, wait a minute, I can build something. I can build a small business and sell it whenever I'm sick of it. And that's what I've done since then.
Yeah, but building them and buying them are two different things. Because
Yeah,
I built a few, as you know. You're sitting in one.
Yeah.
And I would tell you, and you've built them, I find now that I've done it, that it would probably, if I could go back and do it over, I wouldn't build them. I'd buy them.
No, I would not tell anybody today to go build a business. I mean, if you're going to build a business, man, you got to be an absolute fucking animal. You have to work your ass off.
And you have to be willing to sacrifice.
Sacrifice everything. And, you can go do something you think you're good at, but whatever it is you're going to go do, you don't have to be good at that. You have to be good at marketing and management and systems and all the technology, and you have to be good at everything surrounding a business. And so it's just too hard to do that. Building a business is really hard. It's easier to buy one. And the good news is that we're on the edge of a 10-year wealth transfer that we've never seen before. There's going to be $10 trillion of businesses that are going to change hands in the next 10 years.
How much?
10 trillion. There's 68 trillion estimated in total money coming from the baby boomers down to the younger generation. But of that 68 trillion, 10 trillion in the form of businesses. And that's people that have to retire or they're dying. But there's also a lot of people in there that own businesses that are just tired of it. They're burned out. They're bored.
Yeah, see, that's what I want to talk about, because there's people watching this entrepreneurial. They've been struggling for years. Or there's people watching that I call them wantrepreneurs, like they want to quit their job and frickin' become an entrepreneur and basically do it on their own without bosses. Those guys are watching. What would you say to them? Like, you make it sound like, you got to know some shit if you buy a business.
No, actually you don't. There's never been an easier time to buy a business than right now. Here's why. When you buy a business, even if you don't have the skill sets of that particular business or in that industry that business is in, you buy that business and the seller, the current owner of that business, is not only obligated morally, but contractually as well as financially.
To what? Stick around and run it?
Yeah. So there's no better, like right now we're seeing a lot of parents that are tired of their kids just sitting around, not getting a job. They've all got a degree, but that degree isn't getting them a job. So smart parents are buying children businesses, because whenever you buy a business, that seller has to train you. It's contractual, it's financial, and really morally, because a lot of these business owners, they don't want to shut down their business. They don't want to close their doors. So if we find the right buyer for that business, arrange financing, get the money from the bank, or in some cases, no money down, you can buy a business.
Or investors.
Or investors. You can do.
Forget about the money. Money's easy to get if you got a nice business. How do you find the business would be my question.
Well, we have 300 business owners a month contacting us right now, and that number's only going up. So we have about 3,600 to 4,000 business owners a year contacting us already.
To sell their business?
Yes, to sell their business.
And so if somebody says, man, I do want to buy a business, I should just call old Chad Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
Go to real Chad Peterson. Now, and by the way, you would become a lead, wouldn't they? A lead to you, because you buy and sell businesses. So if someone's watching this and they're like, dude, I like this idea of buying a business. I want to learn how to buy a business with no money down. So I want to buy my kid a business, or all the shit you were saying. Why would someone want to do that?
Why would they want to buy a business with no money down, or buy an existing business?
Just buy a business, period. Why would anyone want to buy a business versus build one?
Well, if you're going to build a business, again, you're going to have to work your ass off. You're going to be out there nonstop. You're going to be wearing 7 different hats. You don't have to. You can buy an already existing business. Can I add
business.
To that? Yeah. Well,
you're also going to sacrifice a lot of time away from family. You're going to hope shit works. You're going to have to figure it out. You're probably going to get hit in the face 1,000,000 times. That's just the life of an entrepreneur.
It is. And people aren't prepared for that.
Yeah, I mean, you have a pretty good chance you're going to fail, because you're undercapitalized, you don't have enough resources, the network's wrong. So when people say, well, that all sounds good, but I'm willing to take a risk. Why, when someone has already done that? See what I'm saying? The business owner that you're buying, he already did that. He already beat the odds. He already established a business that's cash flowing. Yeah. So why go build it anymore?
Absolutely.
Like, if I could do it over, I wouldn't be building all the companies I've built.
Yeah, so 2 businesses right down the street from my house. 2 businesses just went under.
But what if you have an idea, though?
And I know them, and I asked him, why did you have to go out of business? He said, we didn't have a buyer for our business. I said, you should have called me.
He just closed his business?
Just closed his doors.
Dude, if there's anybody listening also that's going to close your business, but dude, if your business is cash flowing, pay attention, everybody. Anybody listening, if you have a business and you're about to close doors, you don't have any kids that want it, whatever the excuse or problem or issue is, call me. Call old Brad Lee, and I will get you to Chad Peterson, or hit him direct and say, hey, I want to sell my business. I want to sell it. And there's probably a handful of people that don't even realize they can sell it.
Well, we have, like I said, about 300 business owners a month contact us, but that number is just going up and going further up.
But are there people that don't understand that it's an exitable, sellable asset? You got people that were like you were, where you didn't even realize you could sell it?
Right. I had no idea that you could sell a business. I didn't know why the hell you would want to buy it.
Most people know they can sell a business.
Most people don't know that they can sell their business. They have no clue.
No
and
way.
The damnedest thing about it is that nobody knows the value of their business. Nobody. And if you Google what the value of my business is, you're not going to get the right answer.
Well, how do you get the value of a business?
Well, you have to know what I know. I teach how to do that.
Well,
but you have to know
teach us real quick.
Okay, well, it comes down to cash flow. All right. So cash flow, now you could say it comes down to EBITDA.
Well, that's how you value a business.
No, it's not.
That's how a business is valued, is what you're saying? By whom?
Yeah. Well, I mean, by the SBA, by the banks, by everybody. I mean,
so real lenders that know what the hell they're doing. They're saying, hey, these are the parameters before I'm going to throw money at this stupid thing.
Well, there's discretionary earnings, right, of the business. There's sales discretionary earnings.
That's the money owners take.
Which is called cash flow, which is what the owners take, right? Now, there's the debt service coverage ratio. But those two are closely related, because if the cash flow is not right, then it's not going to debt service. So it all comes down to cash flow.
Okay, so let's say the business that you found and the guy's willing to sell is throwing off 100,000 EBITDA. You hear that word a lot, by the way. EBITDA.
Well, EBITDA is if you're an asshole and you're, a Yankee.
EBITDA, actually.
EBITDA.
Earnings before interest, tax, and amortization, for those of you that are taking notes.
Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Yes. But EBITDA is only one number. That's not the whole picture.
Let's just say net.
Net.
100 grand. That thing's making $100,000 a month. I'm Bradley. It's my company. I'm taking down $100,000 a month from this company.
Yeah.
In walks Chad. And you say what to get me to want to sell this, or
you're making $100,000 net.
Yeah,
a month.
Yeah, but I'm tired of it, dude. I've been doing that for 18 years, by the way, and I haven't been able to grow it and scale it. So now I just want to get rid of it, like it's a headache. Why? I've taken that $100,000 a month for 18 years and invested it wisely, and I got millions of dollars, and I'm tired of this shit. And by the way, if that's you, I'll buy your business. Call me. Call Chad. That's who we want to call us. Like, if you're tired of your business, but it does cash flow, don't you want to see those deals?
Oh, well, we only want to see.
We don't have to buy them, but I want to see them at least.
We only want to see businesses that are cash flowing. Because if you're making $100,000 a month, simple math, that's $1.2 million a year.
That's right.
Okay. On average, folks, your audience here, on average,
3 times.
A business will sell for 3 times. Now, if you're making $1.2 million a year net or cash flow, chances are you can probably get 3.5 times. If it's a real sexy business, you might be able to get 4 times cash flow, maybe, depending on what kind of business it is.
At the most, that business, if I owned it, is worth $3 to $4 million.
That business would be worth 3.6 at a minimum, up to whatever that would be.
So let me ask you a question. How do these businesses that aren't cash flowing at all get valued at $1 billion?
You talking about like
software plays, tech plays, fintech, all kinds of software does it.
That's a totally different question, totally different rabbit hole. But since you asked me, it's because their network. Like Uber doesn't make a lot of money, well, they didn't anyway for a while, but they were valued in the billions of dollars because their network. That's why it's not a cash flow play. Totally different deal.
So you're looking for what? Like bike shops and restaurants and landscaping companies? What are you looking for?
Anything that makes money. And that's the other thing that people do. Like, what type of business is making money? And well, what kind of business would you buy? And the answer is whatever business is making money. Because every business is the same. You have a customer, you have a product, you have payables, you have receivables, you have marketing, management, advertising. It's all the same stuff. Doesn't matter what you're selling, what you're peddling. So for those that think that you need to have a business that's in your degree or a business that you have all this experience in, you don't. You don't need the experience to run a business that you have no knowledge of. What you have to do is get trained by the current owner, the seller, on how to run that business. All you have to do is replace.
What if you don't want to run it? What if you just want to freaking buy it and let them keep running it?
Buy it and have the current owner still run it?
Well, obviously the owner is going to want to leave, but
right.
He had management in there, didn't he?
Well, it depends on how big the business is. Okay.
Well, I'm not going to buy one where I'm buying myself a job, am I?
Well, you have the money to buy whatever you want, but a lot of people might need to buy a business
and work there,
or work there part-time. There's always somebody there to help. Sure.
But run it, manage it, not necessarily labor in it.
You wouldn't have the time to do that. You got the money to buy whatever you want, but average Joe, you got to buy the business and run it.
Okay. So again, a lot of average Joes listen. I'm just getting clear because the people watching this, if you're paying attention, folks, he's basically showing you how he's made millions of dollars. And how many people do you know that go out and do this for a living? I told you when I met you, and I'm like, dude, this is unbelievable because you got these guys that literally have businesses training people how to go out and buy and sell businesses for zero to no money down. And they'll charge, $30,000 to teach you.
I've been doing this for nearly 25 years. I've written 6 books on it. I know
doing
what I'm
it,
doing.
but not teaching it necessarily.
I've been doing it. Now I'm teaching it, but I've been doing this for 25 years. And I wrote a book called Quantum Stack Investing. And what I do is I show just ordinary Joe Blow how to buy a business. That's step 1. But then I show that business owner how to become a multi-millionaire by using leverage, because liquidity leads to wealth. And so you have to leverage into wealth. A lot of people don't know that. Most people are earning paychecks. Paychecks lead to poverty. Liquidity leads to wealth. So what do? I show somebody how to build a business, how to run that business after they buy it, so to speak. Then they sell that. Now they've got liquidity. So if it only takes 10% to buy a business, let's just say you wanted to buy a $2 million business, you could buy it for $200,000 down. In fact, sometimes.
Yeah, what if I don't have $200,000?
Well, sometimes you can get it done for $100,000. Sometimes you can get it done for no money. But again, that's too big for this podcast. I have to teach that. But you have to have some money with the larger businesses. You can buy businesses that are no money down. They're everywhere. I have 250 of them a month coming to me that need to sell, and a bank's not involved. You don't have to have money for them.
Well, you may. They all get creative finance.
It's all creative financing, but you don't have to go to a bank and borrow $2 or $3 million or have a big $200,000 or $300,000 down.
You have to have good credit.
Well, if you're going to go to a bank, you have to have hopefully a 680 credit score.
So anybody with like good credit, they're working a job, they pay their bills, they've just been thinking, hey man, maybe I should buy my own business.
Yeah, but here's where people screw up in this whole process. Okay, people think, well, I don't have enough money to own that business.
Yeah, but they are just making that assumption.
Well, they're making that assumption because they think that they need to be making all this money over here.
Like if it's worth $3 million, they think they got to have $3 million.
Yeah, or they don't, or even a large chunk of that. They don't. It always comes down to cash flow. The 3 most important things when it comes to buying and selling businesses is number 1, cash flow. Number 2, cash flow. Last but not least, cash flow. So the banks look at what the business is.
Because that's what you're buying, a receivable.
You're buying cash flow, man. It doesn't matter whether
So if you're making $12,000 a month, but you're pulling teeth to get it, I may not want that at all, which a lot of people wouldn't because it's only $12,000 a month. At what level do you start getting into VC and private equity and like real money?
Well, you just took a big leap. If you're only making $144,000 a year, that's more than likely going to be a no money down deal because it's not big enough to go to a bank.
How big do you got to be before your business is sellable?
Well, we've sold businesses that are very small on, basically on the come. You come to me.
Creative.
Yeah, creative financing. You come to me and I'll put you into a business and you can pay that business owner on the come, for the next 3, 4, 5 years. We've done that. But how big, what was your question? How big does a company have to be?
Yeah, like before it's like there are buyers that will buy your business. Because I've told a statistic at some point, all you live viewers can Google it and fact check. But there's a certain percentage of businesses that, where was I going with that? These businesses, it was like 70%. And they said 70% of businesses. Now I lost my train of thought because I talked to the live. But you were saying something. What were you saying?
What I'm saying is that a lot of people.
No, don't say something different now. Say what you said.
So I'm going to say what I was saying. But a lot of people think they need to have all that money to buy that business. They don't. The bank actually looks at what the cash flow is of the company. That is what they underwrite off of. They don't underwrite on how much money you have. They underwrite what that business is doing. And then we talked about. Oh
no, I remember. Hold on. I know, but if I don't interrupt, I'll forget.
Okay.
I remember now. So
I'm working with you, brother.
What's a business worth? So like, how big does it have to be before it's worth something? So like an exitable, if you will. And that reminded me of a statistic that I saw on the media, which I don't trust, but the media said somewhere, I saw it on the interwebs or somewhere, that like 70% of all businesses that are out there, like, aren't exitable. Number one, meaning nobody wants to buy them.
More than that, I would say 90%.
Yeah, which means there's a big percent that nobody even wants to buy. Hold on, and then there's another big percent that are for sale but never sell. In other words, there's inventory out there where buyers don't even know they exist. Like you say, you have 300 customers wanting to sell their business. So if I came to you, I'd get 300 options. There's millions of businesses looking to sell.
Yes.
This is the biggest wealth transfer in the history of the world.
Absolutely.
And right now there's millions of businesses looking for new owners that will then transfer that cash flow to them. So right now, the media says there's 70% that'll never sell. And then there's a bigger portion than that are for sale. Or not that won't ever sell, nobody wants. So 70%, nobody wants them. That's why they don't sell. Then there's a huge number, I forget the number, but they are for sale, but nobody knows about them and they don't sell. So like a very small percentage of businesses actually sell.
Absolutely.
Which means all you business owners, how many there are there? 29 million?
33 million.
There's 33 million small businesses. Hopefully most of them are listening to this. Well, you couldn't sell if you wanted to.
Well, so I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell your audience why. 70% is what you said. And I'm going to say more like 90% of businesses are not sellable, meaning they're not ready to sell. And look, they don't have
Charles Wagner from YouTube watching live says, I got a software business cash flowing 29 grand a month. What's available to me to exit? Well, let me answer and then you correct me. Well, Charlie, my man, if you were listening, you're supposed to DM me. No, just joking. I would say that it's not exitable because it's not enough for anybody to really care about. But a guy like, a normal person, they'd be like, yeah, I'll take that. That's pretty decent. 29 grand a month. Hold on. Well, again, we're going to assume it's net.
Net, that's sellable.
Yeah, so 30 grand a month is 360 a year times 3 is about $1 million. So you can exit that company, assuming all the things are necessary, and someone would stroke you $1 million checky poo.
But.
And maybe $1.5 million.
But what does 1 million buy you? This is what I teach in my books.
And well, before you go too far, and let me throw in, it also depends on, is that ARR? Is that contractual? Is that software? Because contracted recurring revenue demands a bigger multiple.
Yes, it does. If you're a SaaS company, you'll get more of a multiple. So there's a lot of factors to it.
He says he's a software business.
But we don't know if it's a subscription based or not. It could be IT related.
Well, he'll answer in a second. Right. We got a little bit of a delay, but there's your answer, dude. For your basic answer is 360 times 3, right? 3 to 5, 3 to 4 max.
Yeah, we'll just say 3 on a company like that, unless he comes back and says he's a subscription model SaaS company. Then we can talk bigger numbers. But here's my point: if he sells that company for $1 million, that $1 million, what does that buy you? Well, it takes 10% to buy a business. So he's making $360,000 a year right now, right?
Has to wait a whole year to get it.
No.
Yeah, he does. He only gets 29 grand a month. If I write him a check for his business right now for $1 million, he gets $1 million up front.
I'm saying if he went to a bank with the buyer, he'll get the $1 million right at close. All right.
Right. But now he doesn't get the 29 grand a month anymore.
100%, because it's not his anymore. He sold it.
Right. But he walks with $1 million. He doesn't have to wait, because if he doesn't get the $1 million, all he's going to get the next month is 29 more. And then 29 more. And I don't know if you've ever experienced what I call lump sums.
Yeah.
Lump sums are always better.
Liquidity events, brother. Liquidity events.
Yeah. Well, those are always better.
Well, let me teach you, but let me tell you about that. So if
someone said, Brad, hold on. Right. This is my podcast, not yours, fool. By the way, you do have a podcast, don't you?
I do.
What is it?
But I want to...
I know, but let's share it with the fam.
It's the Business Brokers Podcast.
Business broke, because dude, you're going to get people that are interested. I mean, this guy's already saying, hey, I got a business. I mean, people that listen to this episode ain't watching live right now. There's going to be shit tons of people listening. And dude, a lot of them are going to be going, dude, who is this dude? Because they have businesses. Yeah. And to me, if I'm sitting there listening to a podcast and like this guy, how much can I get? Shit, I'd take $1 million now than 30 grand a month. However, that's just because of the position I'm in. If I'm a lot further down the road as a business person, I would get $1 million and look for a business like his so I can get my 30 grand a month, because I'm looking for just recurring revenue. But it depends on the business. And again, I would leverage debt myself, but point I'm making is a guy like Charles that's watching here saying, hey, I'm getting 30 grand a month, putting it in my pocket. How much would you give me? And I said, I'll give you $1 million. Will those businesses say yes to people?
So I could easily, I want to finish my point. So yes, I can easily sell his business for $1 million. That $1 million would afford him a $10 million company. So he would go from making 36 grand a month, which is
to 290.
Or I'm sorry,
360 a year.
360 a year. Sorry, I'm better with a calculator, you know.
Yeah.
But
to 3.6
to $3.5 million a year.
Yeah. So you trade up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I teach people how to do.
Or take the money and go party for a year, and then after you're all done partying and living life, then go buy another business.
Yeah, I don't recommend that.
Oh, okay.
I recommend taking all you have, leveraging into a next larger business. We call it the NLB, the next larger business. So create a liquidity event. Use that liquidity to leverage into wealth. Because
and you avoid taxes, right?
Yes, if you do it in the same calendar year and you sell using an asset purchase agreement, you can wipe out your capital gains tax. I'm the only one in the world that teaches that, by the way. I teach CPAs how to do that.
Well, really what you're doing is a 1031 exchange, but for a business.
Yeah, it's not a 1031.
Kinda. Same concept.
It looks like that. But yes, you leave your corporation open. So you actually don't sell your corporation. You just sell the assets of, the rights to. You sell that off. Now you have an LLC that's been in operation for however long. So I ask people this. I argue with CPAs about this all the time. If you had a Ford and you sold it because it's got some miles on it, and you went and bought a GMC, well, do you owe taxes on what you sold the Ford for, or did you buy a bigger, more expensive truck? It's a wash, right? Same thing with a business. Leave your LLC open, buy assets of another company within the same calendar year, and all you did is sell some assets and buy some assets. The trick is to buy another company that has more assets within that same calendar year. If you buy another company that has less assets, you're going to get hit with capital gains tax. I'm the only one that teaches that.
Well, that's that's in the weeds, detailed stuff that's good to know. But if I'm listening to this podcast, I'm thinking, damn, dude, I want to buy a business. So I would say, hey, Chad, okay, I got a little bit of money. Find me some businesses, or I don't really want you to do it. Teach me how to do it. So I say to you, first, I would say, how do I find them?
Well, you can try to find businesses on your own. You can do that, but it's a lot of door knocking. It's a lot of calling.
But that's how I do it?
Yeah. I mean, otherwise you have to go to somebody like me.
How do you do it?
Well, I've been doing this for over 20 years.
Did it start out door knocking?
I've got deal flow.
But it started out that way?
Oh, yeah. Knocking doors, making phone calls, making a name for myself. But I've got the deal flow. Like I said, I've got almost 4,000 business owners contacting me a year now. But if you were going to go do it, yeah, it's beat the streets, man. Go shake hands, talk to business owners.
But you'd teach me what to say?
I could do that, yeah. Yeah.
What's that?
30 minutes online.
These guys, they're trying to give me signals like I know.
You guys don't have your baseball signals down
No,
yet?
we've never went live. But he's telling me that we're on live for 30 minutes because I said, hey, remind me when we're at 30 minutes. But dude, there's a timer in here just so you know. But thank you. So back to what my question was. What was your last statement?
I could teach you how to go find those businesses, but it's gonna be a lot of work on your end, though.
But I'm okay with work.
Okay. Well, I can teach you how to do that. I can teach
good.
you how to find those businesses.
Okay, good. Because that would be my question.
By the way, they're everywhere.
Name of the book, please. It's QSI.
Quantum Stack Investing, QSI.
QSI. Go to his website. Where do they go?
Go to www.chadpeterson.com or go to www.petersonacquisitions.com.
You just heard it. So let me give you a helpful tip in the future. When you say www, you're kind of wasting time and your breath because there's no other one. So if you don't even have to say it anymore, Chief. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I got it.
Like you sometimes I act 36 and you act 76.
That's true.
Like anyone that continues even currently to say, what's your website? www. It's I always think in my head, that there's only one www, right?
Right, but you know why I do it?
Yeah.
As soon as you start saying www, people start paying attention. If I were to say Peterson Acquisitions, it'll zip right by them. If I say www, you start going, wait a minute, he's about to give me something I need to write down.
Oh, it's a psychological thing.
It's a cue to listen. Yes.
Dang, dude, you're detailed. You do www on purpose?
I do it on purpose because now you know I'm about to say a website. Now you're paying attention.
So in the future, you're going to continue to say www.
Not on your podcast. Not if you're going to yell at me like you are.
I ain't yelling. I'm just the only one true enough and real enough to point it out. Because when people do that, because a lot of people do that. And every time I hear someone, what's your website? And they're like, www.lightspeedvt.com.
Yeah.
Hey, where do you go get tickets? www.realbizacquisitions.com. All I'm saying is when people do that and I hear them, I always think in my head silently. I never say shit to them because I don't know them very well. There's just all kinds of people. I think to myself, do they not know that you don't even need to type in www anymore?
No, you don't have to. But again,
so then it isn't www. You're wasting time saying it.
Yeah.
So when someone says, what's your website? You say petersonacquisitions.com.
Yep.
And let me repeat it in case you need to hear it again. petersonacquisitions.com.
It would take the same amount of time.
No, if I said www, someone can time the www. Let's call it a second. You're taking 2 seconds longer because you said it twice.
Okay. All right. Hey, I'm on Brad's podcast.
Dude, this is called Debate Hour with Bradley.
Taking Chad Peterson to school.
Well, it's funny because, again, I got these pet peeves, and that ain't one of them, but I got these pet peeves, and whenever I see people do things, I got to tell them.
I get it. You're a challenger.
Like if
That's what you are. You're a challenger.
No, I think the truth is what your real friends will tell you.
Absolutely.
So like if you walked up to me, dude, and we don't even have to be besties. We just need to know each other. And I see a booger in your nose.
Little bat in the cave. Tell me it's there.
Yeah. If your breath stinks, bro, like when you're talking to me and your breath's fucking foul, you think I'm going to just sit there and let you go around the day talking to people and know full well that people are going to think, ooh, who is this big stinky breath ogre?
Yeah. Well, if you're not my friend,
with a perfect beard. Like, dude, there's people with beards watching going, dude, is that a fake beard?
Well, for those that pay attention for the whole podcast, at the end of the podcast, I'm going to tell you how to get a beard like this, but you have to wait till the end.
Because, dude, your beard almost looks like it's fucking soft and shit.
I've had people pull on it and ask me if it's fake.
But it's real. It's almost like head hair on your chin.
When I come to the real Brad Lee dropping bombs with a fake beard on.
Well, I know it's not fake, but it does.
That's on there pretty good.
But dude, you got to admit, you got a freaking beard that most dudes would kill for.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell a secret.
Do you have to like straighten it or something?
Yeah, I just hit it with a hot comb in the morning.
Oh, okay. So you do it.
That takes 30 seconds.
All right. Well, again, hey, I'm not a beard guy, but I would say if I were a beard dude, that's the kind of beard I'd want.
You have a beard. You could grow it.
Well, I could, but it gets itchy and I cut it off. And besides that, I wouldn't want to cover up the face.
Yeah.
Maybe if I had a big double chin or more of a double chin, I should say. Like if I was trying to hide the necks that go like that with no curve, I'd probably grow a beard so I could hide my gullet. Yeah. See, dude, no one will talk like this, especially on a live. Why? Because, dude, they want to act like this. Excellent, Chad. So then what?
Yeah, I get it.
Oh, that's interesting, brother. Excellent news. And then what? Okay, well, thanks for coming in and thanks for answering my questions. And that'll be all for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Dropping Bombs. When in reality, like, that's not real. What's real is two people having a conversation.
By the way, you should hit your own bomb for you. That was a bomb right there.
You know what? I almost
yourself a bomb for yourself. Come on.
I almost would, but I can't.
Come on, congratulate yourself.
But dude, the reason why I think, being real is more important, and a lot of people get pissed, let him talk. I'm like, dude, this is a conversation. Real conversations get stepped on. Yes or no?
They do.
Like, dude, when you're talking to somebody over a cigar, you're having a drink, and you guys are going back and forth. If somebody
There's
recorded,
oftentimes more stepping than there is listening.
yeah, just like you just stepped on me.
Yeah.
Now somebody will let him finish, man. It's like, dude, this is a conversation. You guys, people listening to this, whether it's on podcast or YouTube or wherever it is, all you're doing is listening to a conversation. So be easy with the let him finish. I know what sometimes, because what the guests are saying.
Do we have a let him finish comment on here?
No, but what they're saying is sometimes, like the guests, like in this case, you would be going, and here's what you do, and here's what you do, and then my dumb ass goes blah, 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 and asks you another question, and they're like, fuck, dude, let him finish. So they're frustrated because they want answers. But I keep telling people, I forget that we're even doing a podcast. Now we're just having a conversation. Right. Like I want to know about buying businesses. I want to know about selling businesses. I have businesses that I've built that are doing millions. And again, net. Well, dude, I could go get my financials and add them up and go, dude, so if this was just 3 times, but I'm software. So a lot of mine are recurring revenue and contract based, which is like 8 times earnings, 10 times, sometimes 15, 30. Like, it's stupid shit.
Well, you're going to get those higher multiples if you have really high revenues. You'll never get those super high revenues if you ever say it again. You'll never get the super high multiples. In that case, you'll get a higher multiple because you're SaaS, but you're not going to get huge multiples because your revenue isn't that big. Now, you do have huge revenues.
Well, the revenue has to be big to attract the right buyers that can afford to give you those multiples. The normal Joe Blow dude has a formula of 3 to 5 times EBITDA. So when you said nobody knows what their business is worth, I've always known that my business is for sure worth 3 to 5 times net.
Yours is worth probably 10 to 12.
I'm talking about for sure, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've always known that. At the beginning, you said people don't know what their businesses are worth. So now people know, if you have a business, you're listening to this, take your cash flow, your net cash flow, your profit, times it by 12, which will give you your annual, and then a general rule. Because again, there's factors. 3 times for sure. So a guy like Charles, who's making 29 G's a month, but that's a job. That's a well-paying job. Yeah. It happens to be his company. So he's got the freedom. That's nice, but it's still only 30 G's a month.
Well, tell your audience what JOB stands for.
Just over broke. But that 30 G's a month, most people are like, I'll take it. Well, that's why Charles is saying, hey, give me the mill. You can have my 30. And then what you're saying is now Charles takes the mill and goes buys one that's doing 360.
Absolutely.
So now he's back in action at a whole nother level. And someone that was having a job is now at his level, which is freedom, which isn't really freedom, because now you just work for yourself. But if you don't have the discipline, you got problems.
Well,
Why?
There is freedom in that. I mean, listen,
there's freedom in it.
I sell heaven and hell, right? That's what I do. I sell heaven and hell. There's somebody in a cubicle right now, and they've got money sitting in a 401k or an IRA. That's not doing them shit. They've got money in equity, but they brag they have a home, but they've got $150,000 in equity that's making the bank's position more secure.
Yeah.
It's not helping them. They've got money in 529 sitting, rotting in a bank account, whatever. Yeah. If you take that money out of there, that's not doing shit for you anyway, go buy a business. Go through the SBA. By the way, getting an SBA loan is not easy, but we do that for you. We get you the money. Like if you go to Wells Fargo or you go to U.S. Bank.
See, that's another thing.
They might have a SBA on the window, but good luck trying to get them to lend you money.
Yeah, but that's another thing. A lot of people don't know how to get the financing, whether it's from the SBA or Wells Fargo or a brother. They don't know how to get the financing for the remainder of the business. Because if you walk in and you make them a deal and you put, let's say, 10% in, well, someone has to still pay that business owner in some cases if they're not willing to take payments, which some of them are.
Yeah.
But let's say, no, they just want their money. Like, I'd want my money. I don't want your bullshit deal. I want money.
Right.
So someone's got to write me that big fat check. Well, dude, that's called securing financing. Because some people, I think that's what stops them. They see, Charles's business is worth $1 million. I don't have $1 million. And then they stop looking. When in reality, no, you don't need $1 million. You need $100,000, and then you need a bank to fund you the $900,000,
and you have to know how to approach the bank.
Then Chuck gets his freaking $1 million. You're out $100,000, but you got 30 coming in. Your money's paid back in 3 months, and now you got $30,000 a month that Chuck used to have coming in. That's why I keep telling people, man. Going back in my life, I've built businesses, and I remember it. I think if I could go back, I don't know. I mean, I may build some that were like ideas, like Lightspeed, that you couldn't buy this. It didn't exist. I built it because it didn't exist. So in some cases, you build a company because you have to. But if you're building a company as an entrepreneur so you can build a life of freedom and wealth and whatnot, it's smarter to buy one and then get in that way. Absolutely. Because all the risk has already been taken. The systems have been developed. Now, if you come in and improve it, and even improve it, great. But worst case, you come in and don't touch it. Leave it alone. It was operating.
Amen. Don't touch it.
If you can't make it better, don't touch it, and then just cash flow it. And then as it cash flows, dude, it's paying down equity.
Absolutely.
So as you pay down equity, that company is not worth less than when you paid for it. It's probably worth more than you paid.
Absolutely. People think that paying the debt service, the note, is going to be an expense. It's not. It's just you're gaining equity in the company.
Yeah.
And if you sell the company, you get that liquidity right back out. So debt service can be used.
So payments are free.
Your debt service can be used as a wealth building methodology, for sure.
Yeah, but payments are free.
Payments are equity that's being paid down on a monthly basis.
Dude, if I did this for a living and started training people, I would be saying, let me show you how you can buy a business. You're calling it debt service. Well, dude, that's because you know that it's called debt service. Mm-hmm. Average Joe may go, what's debt service? Well, that's the payment you make. Well, payment for what? Well, for whoever lent you the $900,000 you didn't have.
No, the bank.
Yeah. But there's people out there that are like, but they don't get that. So that's why I cleared it up. But to say it simply, how I would say it is, I will show you how to buy a business and then make no payments on the $900,000.
Yeah, because
and they'll be like, "What are you talking about? How do you do that?" Because the trick is, you are making a payment, but that payment is equity. So all you're doing is saving money. You're forced saving.
Yes, forced savings. Absolutely.
And dude, that's equity that's building and growing. So a year later, you turn around and sell it. Now you get the $1.5 million or $2 million, and you take that $2 million, and you're able to go now put that $2 million down, which means you can now buy a $20 million company.
Here's the problem.
And by the way, what stops you from doing that again?
Here's the problem with you, Brad. You're smart, okay? And you get this stuff at a deep level really, really quick. Whenever I started to show you these things, you picked it up like this. Most people don't get it to that level. So
they need to get it to that level because, dude, everybody on planet Earth, if they fully understood what you're talking about, would be able to go at least at some level, buy a business, and start building wealth, real wealth.
Absolutely. I don't know any other better vehicle than owning a business to build wealth. I just don't know it. I'm not going to.
What about real estate?
No. Hands down, no. You
can't tell me real estate's a bad investment.
You're not going to make the money in real estate.
You could.
No, you're not going to make the kind of money
argue
than owning a company. You're not going to do it.
But we're going to argue.
Okay, if you can buy a business for 5% or 10% down, that throws off $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year in cash flow. Show me what real estate play does that.
Again, there's been cases. You're saying that real estate is not as good of an investment, but real estate you can get rich doing.
If you like depreciation and you want to sit on property for a while, sure. If you want to make real money, you need to own a business.
Well, I would agree that if out of the two, buying businesses would be more attractive to me because I've done both. And let me tell you something: real estate's a little bit, it's not as the growth spurts are not real, where businesses, it's a lot better and it's all the time.
If you want a real estate play, guess what? Businesses have to be oftentimes in real estate. So yeah, you can, if you're really that excited about real estate, then buy a business that's in real estate.
Or buy a business that owns its real estate.
That's what I mean.
And how do you factor that? What if the business owns the building? Do you now lease it? They're not going to give you the building too.
You buy the building too, or you lease it.
So how does not real estate value increase the value of the company?
It doesn't increase the value of the company. What
about assets?
No, it's just a real estate play.
I know, but if I have a company that has $10 million of equipment in order to produce something that's only cash flowing $100,000 a month, I still have $10 million of equipment paid for. So that's a value. You can't have that.
It's not when you go to sell. No, that'd be a mistake.
Inventory?
Being too heavy in inventory or too asset heavy would be a massive mistake.
But it still has to have value. I'm not going to give you my business with $10 million in inventory in the warehouse and you get it all for free.
No, you're never going to get that done. You're never going to sell it for free.
You would have to take on the debt.
Right, but a bank won't lend on heavy assets or heavy inventory.
So how do I avoid businesses that may be in that situation?
Well, if you're going to go sell your company and you know you're fat on inventory, maybe you're playing the tax game, maybe you buy containers from China and try to offset your earnings by getting fat on inventory by the end of the year, you're just hurting yourself when you go to sell because you got too much assets. Now, if you have too much equipment, then you're hurting yourself there too, because you should be running a business with the tools that you need, not an excess amount of tools.
Got it.
So if you go to sell your business and your asset fat and your inventory fat, you got to trim those down before you go to sell. Otherwise, it's the equation's off.
So, folks, if I'm listening to this as you are, and you have a job, or you have a business that's, $29,000 a month, hasn't grown in a while, don't really have any excitement for it anymore. You've kind of lost your drive. It's kind of monotonous going to work. You hate the team you built. And by the way, people are laughing because that's funny. Those exist. Those exist. And you know what these owners would want? Rid of it.
Yeah.
I just want out of here. I want to go do something else. Well, again, I'd say call me or call Chad because we'll buy your business. Would we buy their business?
Yeah,
I'll buy them.
Yeah.
He sells more than he buys. I'll start buying them. So again, come to me. I may not buy it. I got to see the terms. I got to see the deals. But man, send me your deals. I'll also
have them contact us. Let them know. Have them contact us. Let them know. Let us know that they found this with you.
Either way, trust me. Yeah. That's what he'd prefer.
No, that's what.
And by the way,
no, it's because he's too busy. I'll handle it for him.
Yeah, my audience knows, because I drive people to people all the time. I don't care. I'm an abundant mindset. If they end up hitting me up, I'd send them to you anyway. And they know that. Because again, I'm not out there buying and selling businesses. Chad is.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm out there building software companies, building businesses. And then I run into this dude. I read his books. I'm like, dude, this dude knows his shit. And then I check him out. Oh, dude, this dude's made some money. I'm like, hey, how about, why don't you share some shit on my podcast so we can get other people out there doing shit?
Yeah, I want to teach everybody. I want to teach your entire audience how to buy a business. If they own a business, I want to teach them how to sell it.
Well, then let's do this.
I want to go back a minute.
Hold on, but let's do this real quick. Let's say, because, dude, I got an executive training center downstairs. Mm-hmm. Let's say January 25th. I'll put some food and some microphones and I'll make a big deal and we'll have an event and we'll go to dinner and we'll, schmooze and network and there'll be deal flow and people can learn in one day how to buy businesses with zero to no money down. If I'd put that on downstairs, you'd come share the wealth.
I'll do it for you. I'll do it.
And you're able to break it down step by step.
Step by step.
And everybody that comes to that event will leave here with tactical and actual ability to go find and secure businesses.
Absolutely.
Then let's do it. January 25th, folks. This month, Las Vegas, my training center downstairs. Myself, and I know some shit too, but Chad Peterson mainly, bringing real acquisitions to the stage.
Let's do it.
Real acquisitions.
25th. I look forward to it.
I'm calling it real acquisitions.
Yeah.
How to buy and sell a business with zero to no money down or little to no money down.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm serious. January 25th.
I'm serious too.
That's the date. Guys, you want tickets? Go to RealBiz, B-I-Z, acquisitions.com. There'll be a website there. There probably already is one. Okay. By the time this drops, there might be one now. Somebody live, go look. Real Business Acquisitions. We're selling tickets. There's only 60 available. A few will be VIP, where we'll all go to dinner and network and chop it up. And if you want to sell your business, come to the event. You want to buy businesses, come to the event. You want to learn how to do it, come to the event. Let's do it. January 25th, Real Acquisitions. And by the way, to get tickets, realbizacquisitions.com. That way, podcast listeners, live listeners, every listener, you got the same opportunity everybody else did. Because I know what I'm doing this year, dude. I'm gonna buy and sell businesses with you.
We are going to do it. Absolutely.
Well, dude, it sounds easy. The trick is,
by the time that I teach you, it will be easy.
well, it's easy for you. And if it's easy for you, I know it's going to be easy for me. Now, I don't say that arrogantly. I say it because I believe, and everyone should believe, have the same belief. But if somebody else can do it, so can you. Like, I've never been the guy that says, oh, he can do it, but that's because he's this, that, and the other thing. If you're out there making millions of dollars, dude, because what you're really doing, bro, let me break it down, and correct me if I'm wrong. Let me break it down for the listener. And I don't know how you stumbled into it. I was going to get into your background and how you stumbled into it, but this is more exciting if you ask me. But what you're doing is you're finding deals, however you did it, knocked on doors, and now they call you, which, again, you've been doing it for how long?
Almost 25 years.
Yeah, that's why they're calling you. So you have hundreds of businesses calling you saying, Chad, I want you to sell my business for me. And then you go out and find buyers. Boom. So you sell businesses all day, every day.
Yeah.
And with that 25 years experience, dude, you're able to show somebody what you're doing. And what I tell people is, hey, you want to get rich? First of all, figure out what rich looks like. Then figure out someone who already did it. Then just do what they did. And so now there's different vehicles. In this case, it's buy businesses. That's what you did.
Absolutely.
So you can show somebody that isn't rich and doesn't have a lot how to go get rich. How long you think it would take a normal person to go out and actually get their first one and parlay it into another one, and boom, next thing you know, they're a millionaire?
Well, you can buy a business. Your audience, anybody in your audience could buy a business this year in 2025. Anybody can.
And there's a lot to buy.
There's a lot to buy. In fact,
no money down, money down.
I have 250 plus a month that people can.
Are most of those where you have to come out with a big fat check?
Some of them, this is going to sound weird, but some of them qualify to be sold traditionally. In other words, some of them qualify. You were throwing some numbers out earlier that 70%, and I said more like 90% have a hard time selling. That's because business owners really don't know how to run their business and
package
show
it
their
up.
earnings. Well, yeah, they don't know how to show their earnings. They don't know how to sell their business. They need somebody like me to sell their business. They don't know how to source a buyer either, so they have to come to me to do it. But most of the time, the transaction is broken down because nobody knows how to approach the transaction. If you've never done it before, then you're not going to be very good at it.
How many have you done in your life?
Too many to count.
And dude, his books are this thick, and they're not like little pamphlets like you see out there. When I got a book on it, he's got a couple of books, and they're thick ass filled up books. I read them and I'm like, dude, this dude knows his shit. I need to get him on the podcast to tell the world that there's people out there with jobs desiring freedom. There's entrepreneurs that quit their jobs and built a company, but are struggling or tired of it. Like, dude, this is what they should do.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you don't have to have a ton of money. That's the thing. You don't have to have.
See, I would have thought you did.
No, you don't have to have a ton of money. You don't have to have a lot of talent. Believe it or not, I tell people this. You don't have to run a business. You don't have to have all the skills, but to build one, you do. Now, if you're going to buy a business, the trick is you have to be a really good manager. So there's a lot of people out there that are managers of companies. They've been.
But what if they're already staffed?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. But if you're a manager type, you're a good operator for a company. If right now you're somewhere, you're a manager, they've promoted you to running a division, you're perfect to own your company. But a lot of people think you need to be a business whiz like yourself, Brad. And a lot of people think you need to have all the marketing, all the technology, all the management experience, the multiple businesses, entrepreneur. You don't have to. You need a little bit of money in a lot of cases. Sometimes you don't need the money, but you need to have the knowledge on how to approach the transaction in order to have it be successful. And then if you're a manager, then you're a good fit to operate that company. Entrepreneurs are terrible business managers. And that's what most of these businesses require, is somebody to be in them daily and working them. And I can show people how to become wealthy. To answer your question, I can show people how to be wealthy within 4 years of them owning a company. So let's just say in 2025, your audience, they buy a company. In 4 years, I can turn them into a multimillionaire with my teachings.
January 25th, folks, go get the ticket. Again, you heard it on the fly. Let's see if there's any old questions, just in case. Nick Diaz wants to know how much I make a month.
Nick Diaz.
I wish that was the Nick Diaz.
Is that the fighter, Nick Diaz?
I wish it was the fighter, Nick Diaz. It ain't the fighter. If it is the fighter, like, come on the show and we can talk all about it, Nick. Nick and his brother's fucking badasses.
I love
them.
both of them.
Dude, I like anybody that's just willing to scrap, and they don't really, they don't even care if they lose.
Those two are the scrappiest of them all.
Dude, they don't care if they lose. Like, they're down to scrap, and that's the kind of people you don't want to scrap, which is why they always win.
Yeah, and they have endless stamina. Endless.
Well, we don't have time for this. Plus, it's a podcast. I kind of want to turn into a live show because I see live viewers, but I forget this is not for live viewers. This is for podcast subscribers. If you're not subscribed to the podcast, you need to go get subscribed to Dropping Bombs, folks. But anyway, dude, listen, I'm going to really put that on. If you're going to show up, you're hearing it here, folks. Brad Lee is telling you right now, real acquisitions, how to buy a business with zero or little money down, A to Z, get out of the rat race, start building wealth, get rich. You can say that because what'd you just say? You can show them how to get rich. And
if you own a business, I can turn you into a multimillionaire within 4 years.
As long as you own a business.
As long as you own a business.
Okay, so again, guys, January 25th here at my headquarters. It's a private training center with leather recliners and a big wall of a video wall. It'll be step-by-step detailed workshop style instruction. So when you leave here, you can go buy a business or 5 or 10 and begin. Get here, folks, and you go buy a ticket at realbizacquisitions.com. There you go. Now, again, dude, we're going to have you back on another episode.
Let's do it.
But January 25th, you got to show up. Otherwise, people are going to start buying tickets.
I'll be here January 25th. I will teach your entire audience.
And then VIP, we'll take them for cigars and a fancy ass dinner, and we'll talk deal flow, and maybe we'll like, find some business there.
Yeah.
Because I'll bet you people that own business, like, dude, I got to get in the room with Chad. Folks, if you guys want to become an M&A king, if you guys want to make a ton of money, doing this, then consider coming to the event, Las Vegas, Nevada, January 25th, Luxury Training Center with me and Chad Peterson. And hopefully you go VIP, get your tickets at realbizacquisitions.com. Go subscribe to Dropping Bombs. And were you going to finish?
Well, I was going to say, too, if there's any business owners out there that want to sell, come to this event because you're going to have business buyers right there. If you're a business seller, you own a business, you're burned out, you're bored, you're on the tail end of the passion cycle, you want to move up, you want to go on to your next adventure, come to the event. Learn this as well because there'll be buyers there.
Well, not only will there be buyers there, but you'll be there and you'll buy them, and I'll be there and I'll buy them. Again, I ain't guaranteeing I'll buy them, but I'll look at them, and if they're good, if there's something, I'll buy them.
Yeah.
I'm looking to buy, brother. And I wasn't even going to get a loan. I want you to show me how to get financing and leverage it all and do all the shit you do.
You know I can do it. You know I can.
Appreciate you coming in.
I appreciate you having me here.
Folks, let's kill the live. That was damn near the whole thing. Now we're going to talk about the meat and potatoes.
Oh, okay. All right.
And the live. Live, thanks for watching. Now the live's killed. And they think they're going to miss this big remaining part.
Operator, brother. You're a smooth operator.
Yeah, but there is no remaining part, folks.
You're good.
You subscribed for nothing. We were already done. You heard what we wanted you to hear and what we needed you to hear. Look, Carlos is coming. He's getting a ticket.
I'm impressed by you, Brad. I really am.
Wagner says, I'm free, but not really. I have a longer chain. What did we say about that? Anyway, folks on the podcast that are listening to this in their car, walking on the treadmill, we were doing a Facebook and a YouTube live. I'm going to start going live with these. You can always go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. You can go find Chad at chadpeterson.com. You can follow him at Real Chad Peterson. He's going to be here January 25th, breaking it down, workbook style, step by step, roll up the sleeves. Then we're going to go smoke cigars, eat a fancy ass dinner, network, discuss deals, and figure out how the hell to get a beard like his. Until next time, folks, keep it real.